The pastronaut Josh Dobbs has been nothing short of amazing these past 2 weeks. I mean, this guy has been absolutely incredible, right? He comes in, doesn't even know the wide receiver's name, doesn't know the offensive lineman, basically doesn't know anything, doesn't even know where his locker room was this past Sunday against the New Orleans Saints. Had to have somebody show him where his locker was, basically. But he's been incredible, right? He's been able to throw the ball, move the ball downfield. He has a really good chemistry with TJ Hockenson already. Him and Jordan Addison have somewhat of a chemistry as well. He gets a lot of balls thrown his way too. So this offense has looked great. It basically looks like as if Kirk Cousins is still playing. That's what I'm seeing on the field. And honestly, when we first signed Josh Dobbs, I was like, I don't know what to think. Like, is it going to be good? How is this going to... How is the rest of the season going to transpire? Like, are we going to absolutely tank for Caleb Williams, or are we going to move on? We're going to get some dubs. We're going to, hope for Justin Jefferson to come back by the bye week. I'm not 100% sure how this is going to go, but so far, Joshua Dobbs has not only proved me wrong, or proved us right, I should say, but he might be here to stay. There's a perfect world out there where Kirk Cousins and Josh Dobbs both stay a Minnesota Viking next season, and then we can focus elsewhere, like a defense, like the offensive line, just boosting certain areas to the point where we can focus later on in years to come on a quarterback at that point in time. But Josh Dobbs has been spectacular. I think he's here to stay if he continues to play as well as he had. But before we get to this article talking about Josh Dobbs and what he's brought to this offense and what he could potentially bring to the Denver Broncos game Sunday night primetime football, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. It'd be much appreciated. So let's get right into it, right? Let's talk about the game last week, and then we'll talk about what's going to happen this week, right? Now, it was a tale of two halves Sunday for the Vikings. The Vikings took a 24-3 lead into halftime after an electrifying performance by rocket scientist / quarterback, the pastronaut, Josh Dobbs, whom Minnesota, who's 6-4, acquired at the October 31st trade deadline from the Arizona Cardinals. Now, conservative play calling and a missed 54-yard field goal attempt by kicker Greg Joseph gave the Saints life all the way to the last play of the game, a Hail Mary attempt that fell to the end zone turf at US Bank Stadium. Now, although the second half didn't live up to the thrills of the first, the Vikings cemented their fifth consecutive victory and have further evidence Dobbs is their unquestioned starting quarterback for the foreseeable future. He finished with 268 passing yards, 44 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns, 1 passing and another rushing, right? Not only did the passer not complete several tight window passes, but he also did an exceptional job of creating opportunities with his legs, especially under duress. Now, one of the best examples of Dobbs' 7-yard rushing touchdown in the second quarter. This run exemplifies his elusiveness and evokes memories of Fran Tarkenton scrambling all over the frozen Metropolitan Stadium for the Vikings in the 1970s. We finally have a scrambling quarterback. It feels good, okay? It feels real good. Remember, Fran led us to 4 Super Bowls. Yeah, he lost them all, but he's a scrambling quarterback. Let that sink in for just a little bit. Not saying Dobbs will do it. I hope he does, but you never know, right? Now, through the air, Dobbs relied heavily on tight end TJ Hockenson, who had a monster performance. 11 catches, 134 yards, and a touchdown. With wide receiver Justin Jefferson potentially returning this upcoming week against Denver, it will be interesting to see how Dobbs leverages his receiving options. Now, Dobbs' mobility and offensive prowess are a breath of fresh air for Vikings fans who have become accustomed to the passing-friendly offense with Kirk Cousins. The stark contrast in quarterbacking style between Cousins, who's out for the season with Achilles injury, and Dobbs is eye-opening and has given new life to the offense. In contrast to Dobbs, Cousins runs infrequently, right? He only runs if he has to, absolutely has to. He's going to stay in the pocket because he's a pocket passer, right? Now, it feels like Minnesota has just scratched the surface of what it could do offensively with its new starter. And on Monday, Chris Sims of NBC Sports, a former NFL quarterback, tweeted that he was blown away by Dobbs' performance. He ain't the only one that's blown away. LeBron James, after that first game, I think, tweeted something. There's multiple celebrities that are like, wow, this Josh Dobbs guy, the pastronaut, is an absolute dog for the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm pumped up about it. He's been fantastic. He's got us some wins. Let's hope that train continues. Now, besides just leading a rejuvenation of offense creativity for Minnesota, Dobbs has protected the football. He has not thrown an interception in 64 passing attempts with the Minnesota Vikings. Winning the turnover battle is vital in the NFL, especially for a team that struggled mightily at the beginning of the season. In the first 5 games, the Vikings committed 12 turnovers, but during their winning streak, they only have 5. Okay, 7 more days. I guess not really 7 more days. We have what? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we have 3 more days to learn the playbook. He had a full week this week to learn the playbook, talk to his teammates' names, and that's only going to benefit Dobbs and the Vikings, who play at Denver this weekend on Sunday night primetime, and I am pumped up about it. Look, the Denver Broncos have looked good as of recent. That defense is finally healthy. They're playing ball. They're flying around, making plays. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a battle whether we like it or not. This ain't the Broncos that lost to the Dolphins by 70 or whatever the case may be. No. This is the new Denver Broncos, okay? I mean, you can't really say new, but it's a new version of the Denver Broncos this season, right? Before they were getting beat, this team is terrible. Look for a top 5 pick. Russell Wilson out of the building. Is the Sean Payton experiment working? I mean, it looked trash, right? Plain and simple. However, it's a new atmosphere over there in Denver. They're finally making plays. Sean Payton said, I've had enough. We're letting go of players that I don't think believe in the culture that I'm trying to build, who really don't do much for us. Get rid of Randy Gregory. Can't remember if they got rid of any other piece before the trade deadline. I'm not 100% sure with that. But the culture there has completely changed. So it's going to be a tough game for Joshua Dobbs and this Minnesota Vikings offense, which is why with Justin Jefferson potentially returning, and if he does return, that'll be huge. That'll help us. That'll give us a lot of upside in potentially winning this ball game. And Joshua Dobbs has every bit of trust that I have is in Joshua Dobbs to lead us to victory, because he's shown that he's capable of doing so, right? He can get outside the pocket if need be. He can utilize his feet. He's really mobile. He can also be a pocket passer. He throws bullets, just absolute dots, puts it in a bucket, and you sit there and you think, this guy was available? Like, he was on the Cleveland Browns to start the year. I bet they wish that he was still there. Then he goes over to the Cardinals, helps them stay afloat somewhat until Kyler Murray gets back. Then he gets shipped to Minnesota, and he's been on an absolute tear. I mean, hopefully we see Joshua Dobbs as a Minnesota Viking next season, potentially maybe as a backup quarterback. I'm not 100% sold yet on the fact that he's a starting quarterback. Now, if he leads us to the playoffs and wins a couple playoff games, then sure. Yep, Joshua Dobbs is our starting quarterback next season. I'd be okay with that. I 1,000% would be okay with that. And then we can keep Nick Mullins and Jaron Hall on the roster. But as of right now, Joshua Dobbs is here to stay. He's going to be the starting quarterback for the foreseeable future, unless he has an absolutely atrocious game, which I don't see happening. But Joshua Dobbs is fantastic. I'm pumped up that we found a good quarterback to replace Kirk Cousins with that Achilles injury. And you guys let me know your thoughts on Joshua Dobbs. Does he keep it rolling? Does he get us another win in Denver on primetime football? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Drop a like. And hey, subscribe to the channel. It'd be much, much appreciated. Have a great rest of your night, folks. And Skol Vikes.